up the audio, but it just sounds incredible. That's in sport, so flaps open. Mental mode is initiated, so to speak. And yeah, you get nice burbles, hops and bangs. And I just don't think it's too much. I've heard it on the other extreme where they've literally gone mental with the hops and bangs, and I just think it sounds silly personally. I don't think it sounds nice in any way, shape or form, whereas this is a comfortable, even balance. Okay, so I went to QS Tuning a couple of weeks ago, as you can see in my previous video, or if you haven't seen, click on the link and you should better get into it. Now basically I wanted to just enhance the car, make it a little bit more enjoyable, make it a little bit more fun. The sound of it was alright, but again, due to all the latest regs with sound and emissions and God knows what else, I thought I want something a little bit better. So I spoke to Alex. He recommended that I went for a Miltech decat downpipe, left everything completely stock. There's no reason really to change that, and it also gives me the ability to switch between comfort and RS mode and basically have it a little bit quieter. So in comfort mode I was able to close the flaps, drive it around as I normally would with the family, doing what I do, and it wasn't at all blary in any shape or form. Just a nice, pleasant sort of car to drive. Put it into RS mode, flaps open, and then yeah, the extra sound is just incredible. Again, on my previous video you can see the before and after that we did with the exhaust notes, just to sort of let you know what it's like. But it's a completely different car, totally different. The TCU tune I'd recommend to anybody at all that's even not really looking to particularly tune their car, but just wants to make it a little bit better. Then go TCU all day long. It's not a big cost, and it just changes the transmission completely. I just feel that it's much more responsive, much more fluid, and just generally a million times better. So if I was to go for anything at all, like I say, go for a TCU tune. Now I appreciate, like, one of my biggest fears, obviously with a car that costs best part of 130 grand, the last thing you want to do is tune it to an inch of its life and then something goes wrong. And I have to stress, I have spoken to a lot of people in the tuning industry that have sort of said, they have had numerous cars, including RS6s actually, come in and they have got blown turbos and God knows what else. And I just think, you're certainly not going to get that covered under warranty, and it's a big hit. You're talking probably 5, 10, 15, 20,000 depending on the level of damage easily, which is something you certainly don't want to do with a car of this value. Now I wanted to get a tune where I'm not going to be ragging it around every day of its life anyway, because it's just no fun or sense in that, if I'm completely honest. So I went stage 2 purely because I wanted the extra power. So factory figures for this literally start, I think it's about roughly 600 brake horsepower. Now when we dynoed mine, it came in quite a bit under that actually. I think it was 570, 580, and it's running 800 newton meters of torque. So with stage 2, as you'll see again on the previous video on the dyno that we done, we got up to 750 brake horsepower and 1015 newton meters. Now that's quite an impressive increase, to be fair. I'm more than happy with the results. There's always going to be a side of you that wants to take it a little bit further, and I've even jokingly spoken to Alex and said, well, kind of what's next, let's do something fun. But I actually think this is just more than enough. I'm averaging probably 19 to 20 miles per gallon driving it sensibly, and then every now and then when I just want to sort of have a bit of a laugh, I can open it up, and yeah, it just copes with it fine. I don't think I'm stressing any particular component too much, just by having the occasional fun. Now I have been warned, and I would probably warn others, that if you're going to launch control where you're literally flat on the gas and then you let off, probably not a great idea. But if you hold it at about 2,000 revs and then go, it seems to just feel and pull nicer. It's just not so, what's the word, it's not so abrupt off the line, where you're spinning the wheels, whereas when you're in second sorry, at 2000 revs, and you're sort of pulling away quite nicely. It just seems to pick up faultlessly. It's got a really nice torque curve. The power is just instant, and literally it throws you into your seat. Like, I've seen some videos where people are sort of, you know, headbutting the seat, flying back in their seat, and it's just like, well, I guess if you're totally relaxed and completely off guard, it would throw you back, and you certainly feel it, but it's not to that extent. But hey ho, we all watch videos, and we love to watch videos, and a bit of exaggeration makes it more appealing, so maybe I should do the same. So we're in launch control, reset to 0, and go. A bit damp, to be fair. We've got 3 seconds dead, a little bit of spin, so I'm really confident we could easily get 2.7, 2.8 out of that. And again, you know, it's a second off stock time. It's a huge difference. A lot of people say, oh yeah, but what's a second? You know, it's a massive difference. I absolutely love this car, I really do. Anyone that's thinking about getting one, depending obviously on budgets, because I appreciate everyone's got different budgets, but I would say get the Vorsprung purely because you've got all the luxuries. You know, you've literally got everything. It looks amazing, sounds amazing, and go and get it tuned. I would really want to stress, and I use that word a lot, but I really would like to stress that if you're going to do it, not necessarily QST, you know, they're good guys and I'd highly recommend them, but if you want to use someone else, just do your research. You know, you don't want to destroy an expensive car. You want to go to someone who does this day in, day out. Now, one thing I did like about QST, or I do like about QST, is the fact that they have their own car that they've bought outright. You know, they spent a lot of money, they've invested so much time and money in their own car, and it's running perfectly. There's no faults, it hasn't continuously broken down, nothing's gone bang or blown up on them, and it just kind of reassures you that if they're applying the same tune that they do on their car to your car, you know, unless you're seriously unlucky, you should be absolutely fine. So if you're going to tune it, I'm all for it. You could even do a stage 1, you know, just stage 1, just liven it up a little bit, get the TCU tune done. Or if you want to have a bit more out of it, then certainly go stage 2. Like I said before, I've gone e-Venturi air intake, spark plugs, Miltech decat downpipes, and that's pretty much it, to be fair. And it's a completely different car. It's not stupid money really when you sort of say, right, well, I've got a 130 grand car and I'm going to do, worst case, let's say 6, 7, 8K's worth of mods. You know, it's what, less than 10%. So yeah, I would say if you've got the money and you're willing to do it, then go ahead. Just again, without sort of constantly boring you and repeating myself, use someone reputable, someone that is known in the industry for really knowing their stuff and having lots of experience doing it. Don't go to a tuner like I did a long time ago, embarrassingly enough, who had amazing reviews, turned up with all of his laptops and God knows what else, and was looking at me a bit blank and goes, oh, I've never done one of these before. So I was like, okay, that's a bit worrying. And then, yeah, ultimately the short story is he plugged in, completely bricked the ECU, car was off the road for a week, cost me an absolute fortune to get it all sorted out. Absolute nightmare dealing with the guy trying to get my money back, which, you know, in all fairness to him, he's kind of doing it as and when he feels like it. But no, I will never make that mistake again. Go to someone who knows what they're doing, someone who's done several different cars, that's got a portfolio of their work that can prove, you know, they do know their stuff. And I don't see there's any risk at all, really. I think you'd be absolutely fine. And again, just the enjoyment factor from the car. It is, you know, it's just, I can't really even find a word to explain it, actually. You know, it's just so much more fun. It's much more responsive, like you've only got to kick down and bang, this thing's gone. A lot of people drive around in auto. You can obviously use manual mode with the paddle shifters, and again, with the tune, you will notice it's a completely different setup. It's absolutely insane, and you really are holding on for dear breath with this car. You know, if you're one of those sort of limp-wristed handshakers, then I would seriously recommend that you hold on to the steering wheel nice and tight in this instance, because I tell you what, it just wants to rip you out on the road. It just takes you straight off. So yeah, make sure you're holding on nice and tight.